Okay, hello you beautiful people. It has been a minute since we talked about ICP, and I think the last time that we talked about internet computer, it was roughly around 50 days ago, and I'll be honest with you, since then a lot, at least on the live chart, did go according to what we said back then. But before we get into all that good stuff, in today's update, I want to talk about this very important and yet extremely bizarre and odd piece of news. And believe us or not, this is actually completely related to ICP. So, what actually happened in here? Let's do a bit of a deep dive and explain to you why this is actually such a big deal. And let's see, can we actually identify some silver lining in here? You see, a new hacker group called Team PCP recently launched a very advanced cyber attack, but the important part is actually how they did it, because they didn't really go after users directly. No, instead, they attacked the tools that developers trust every single day, and they compromised a security tool called Trivy. And if you are a bit of a programmer, not necessarily even like a pro one, you know what Trivy is, because Trivy is actually widely used in software pipelines. Now, once they got access to Trivy, they actually started stealing credentials and also injecting malicious code into NPM packages. And from there, the malware spread very quickly. And this is exactly what we call a supply chain attack. Essentially, you're not trying to hack the target directly. No, you are positioning the tools that they rely on, which is really not ideal. And I'm gonna be very clear, it is like 100% immoral. Why? Because again, you're not targeting individuals. You're just going to target anything and everything, including normal civilians. And that, I think we can all agree, by no standards is the right thing to do. Now, here is where it gets kind of more serious. You see, the malware that they deployed was not just necessarily spying or stealing data. No, it also had a wiper function, meaning when the malware infected a machine, it actually checked the system's time zone, and if the system was located in Iran, okay, it would unfortunately completely wipe that machine. And we are talking like full data destruction, deleting anything and everything, which again, by no means is the right thing to do. But that's not really what we are here to talk about today. No, we are today talking about this because this is actually related to ICP, and I'm going to tell you in a bit why. Now, here is the most interesting part, and believe it or not, it actually comes down to the infrastructure behind this whole attack. You see, every single malware operation needs a control center, something that tells infected machines what to do, what not to do. Normally, hackers use centralized servers like, for example, AWS or maybe other cloud providers like Google for such an operation. The problem for those hackers in these scenarios is that those can actually be tracked and shut down, I would say, relatively fast. So instead, they actually did something very different. You want to know what they did? Okay, here it goes. They actually used an ICP canister as their command and control system. Basically, they managed to turn a smart contract on the internet computer into the brain of this whole operation. And you might ask, well, okay, why does that matter and why should we care about it a little bit? Because you see, ICP is very important to understand that unlike a lot of people on Twitter saying, ICP is actually decentralized. There is no single server to shut down in here, no easy way to just pull the plug. Once something is deployed in ICP, well, it's actually going to be, unfortunately, or maybe even fortunately, much harder to take offline compared to some traditional infrastructure, like we said earlier, like for example, AWS or Google. And this, my friends, is where things get quite interesting, because even though this was used in a clearly negative and immoral way, it actually, in my opinion at least, shows exactly what this technology is capable of. And this is where I'm going to start talking about the silver lining. You see, I think can be interpreted as a real world test for ICP's core idea, which is trying to be an unstoppable cloud. And here is the key point in here. You see, hackers do not really care about narratives. They actually care about what works and what doesn't. And based on this, well, the fact that a sophisticated group chose ICP to host their command systems I think it does actually tell you sort of kind of that the tech absolutely does what it claims. It is fully decentralized, it is extremely hard to take down, and also it is very much reliable enough to run critical infrastructure on it. But here is the part that most people miss. You see, you can also interpret this whole situation as sort of kind of a test of control for ICP if, again, you like me, insist on finding some sort of a silver lining in this whole situation. Because Dominic Williams actually responded to this article and said something very, very important. He said, even though the canister was designed to be resistant to takedowns, the network's boundary nodes were able to finally step in and stop the whole situation. And that is a really big deal, at least in my opinion, because this is showing that ICP is not some uncontrollable dark web system. And I know you might say at this moment, well, okay, doesn't this go against the whole decentralized narrative? Honestly, I don't really think so. I believe that if you want to attract a lot of adoption, well, you like it or not, on top of being fully decentralized, you still need to have some sort of a governance. And in this case, ICP has a clear working layer of governance and security that can react when something clearly malicious happens. So you get essentially both of the benefits: a strong decentralization, but at the same time, not necessarily complete chaos, which is really the ideal scenario. Now, let's also talk about maybe sort of kind of a bullish angle here, because this is kind of fascinating. You see, this whole situation, I do believe it does have the potential to be considered as some sort of a stress test at the highest level, a real attack scenario for ICP. And okay, thank God ICP didn't really break. And you might say, well, okay, why is this important and maybe even to a degree bullish? Because from an enterprise perspective, this is actually a very, very strong signal for them, because if attackers trust this infrastructure because it is hard to shut down, then okay, companies should also start asking the same questions. Why aren't we really using this whole ICP infrastructure for critical systems? For example, if you are running banking software or maybe hospital data, you do really want something that doesn't really go offline easily, and ICP can be definitely a very, very solid candidate in such situations. And here is one last important point that actually matters quite a bit. You see, it's very important to understand that ICP node providers are not really anonymous. They actually go through a straight verification and operate real hardware. And the fact that the network cloud respond and also shut this malware down actually, in my view, shows that you can combine decentralization with a controlled, secured environment. And that, my friends, is exactly what a lot of the governments around the world actually want. I'm not going to say this is a good thing. I'm not going to say this is a bad thing. I'm just here presenting the data. This is to the T what a lot of countries actually do want, or maybe even to a degree they need. And again, if you are like me, who tries to find some sort of a silver lining in this type of not necessarily optimistic and good news, well, you can sort of kind of argue that technically this is a proof that the system works under pressure, and fundamental wise, the tech is absolutely solid. And for attracting a lot of adoption, well, that's just going to be a matter of time. So overall, on surface, fair enough, definitely negative news, but I think there are some interesting points in this article here and there. And if you have time, I would highly suggest to just give this article a read yourself. You are going to find a lot of interesting points. Now, having said all this, let's go on the live chart and see what is going on and what happened since we talked about Internet Computer 40 days ago. Okay, here we are. And if you remember, the last time that we talked about ICP, we were specifically, I believe, right around this area. And the main idea was that there's like a very, very high chance we are having from this height to about this point, 5 down into 1, correction for 2. And then we had in here a massive, strong move down into wave 3, followed by a correction for 4. And what's next? We said most likely another move down into wave 5, which in it, there is a good argument to be made that we are indeed on our way to take this importance low, or at least, let's just say this, we said get very, very close to it. And guess what? We exactly to the T did that. And I think even back then, we also talked about the whole Middle East situation playing out. And we said, look, in like very short time, expect a 5 wave down to play out, and then we should be still a bit patient and see, are we going to have a massive, a strong bounce back or not? And as you can see, it seems like that we did actually get our bounce back. But the question is, can we argue this right in here is a buy or maybe even a short-term long opportunity? Well, let me just answer the question very quickly. So if you're not interested in Elliott waves, you're just going to close the video right now. Absolutely 100% not. In fact, I would like to argue in ICP, odds are, for the reasons that I'm about to tell you, we are actually headed a little bit lower, and we are going to most likely take this important low, and then I'm thinking we are going to have a bounce back, and even in this case right in here, catching this one in my view is going to be a terrible mistake. So there, if you want to close the video, feel free to do so. Now let's talk about why do I believe, number one, we're going to continue this move down a little bit more, and number two, after it, probably a bounce is coming. Let's go around this area. You see, my main field of works is called Elliott waves, and in terms of Elliott, if you want to argue that, for instance, right in here, let's say this is like a decent support area, in here we're gonna have our final low, or generally let's just say some sort of a low, not even our final one. Okay, you know what, fair enough. Off of the low slow, then you have to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. Okay, it's very important to understand that this specific scenario is called an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between our wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, this wave 3 right in here should not be the smallest wave. Okay, a lot of short-term new traders make this mistake by saying wave 3 is going to be the strongest and the longest wave. No, it doesn't have to be. It just doesn't have to be the smallest wave. Okay, it's very important to understand that. And for the sub waves, let's change the colors. Okay, you probably know it if you are a regular viewer of the channel. We're gonna have 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5 like this. And for our corrective movements for wave 2 and 4, we can consider different possibilities. Let's just call it WXY, at least in this instance, into wave 2, followed by an ABC into 4. Now, if you are able to argue from the lows we are having a 5 wave as beautiful as this one, believe it or not, even right around the highs is not going to be a buy opportunity. Why? Because bullish or bearish, even if you want to go according to the most bullish case, after a 5 wave, what are we going to have? You probably know it. One way or the other, we are going to have a better move on the downside, and this sort of kind of is going to be the decider for what is going on in this area. Number one, in case you see a very strong projection from these areas, maybe in form of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, generally again a very strong move without a lot of overlapping of the waves, that's not necessarily going to be an optimistic sign. On the other hand, if you see from these areas a rather slow and choppy move down, which timing wise is going to take more time relative to the time that it took for us to have this 5 wave on the upside, and also between our pullbacks up in here, we're just constantly going to find overlapping of the waves. You know what, that can be a good sign suggesting, yep, hopefully this is a correction structure, and the bullish scenario is in place, suggesting on a higher degree. Hopefully this is 1, this is 2, and you can at least minimum bet on the scenario suggesting that, yep, the next move is going to be a good one up, hopefully according to the bullish case into wave 3, 4, 5, or if not bullish, okay, at least you can argue this is A, this is B, and what's next? You know it, at least yet another move on the upside into our ceiling. Now, for our correction structure that we are going to have after completing this 5 wave, we can consider so many different possibilities, like I told you earlier. One scenario that actually comes to mind by looking at ICP's chart in H1 timeframe, in my view, can be having an ABC expanded flat, which is going to make a lot of things like a whole lot more complicated. But hey, guess what? The market doesn't really care about you and I, okay? The market does what it does. We're just here to analyze the data. Now, for an expanded flat, we're going to have our initial move down into A, and then a rather decent move up into our B leg, which in it, as you can see, we are going to take this initial height, and then a rather strong move down into C, and then it's once more unfortunately going to take this low of our A leg, and essentially this is going to be a god awful annoying pattern for some short-term traders. Why? Because on each side we are essentially taking some levels which is going to hit their stop loss, and that, trust me when I tell you, is really not ideal. But hey, again, it is what it is. Now for our sub waves, we're gonna have ABC down into A, ABC up into B, followed by, like we said, that a very strong move, a 1 2 3 4 5 into C. Got it? Great. Now let's go on the live chart and practice what we have learned so far. Number one, I'm thinking probably from the lows about here, we are having a 1 2 and then 1 2 3 4 5 wave up into wave 3, correction for 4, another move up into wave 5 to about this point, followed by that. What is going on here? Well, if you want to be a bit optimistic in ICP, you can argue from here we are having an ABC expanded flat, like we said it earlier, and this can be ABC down, followed by maybe from this point to about here, an A, and then a flat down into B, and another strong impulse up into C. And here is why earlier in the video I told you odds are in ICP we are going to continue this move down a bit more. Why? Two reasons. Number one, I'm really not able to argue that this structure is a 5 wave. I mean, maybe I am able to get the sub waves to work, but the shape of the 5 wave that we're going to find at that point is going to look so odd to a degree. Honestly, it's not really going to be my base case. Point number two, you see, in my view, from this side to about this point, this is 1, this is 2, maybe to about this point, actually the end of our wave 3, followed by a triangle for 4, and then another move down into wave 5, and even on a higher degree, this is 1, this is 2, this yellow 5 wave is into wave 3, correction for 4, and what's next? You know what? Another move down into wave 5, which, and that, again, like we said earlier, we are going to take this important low in ICP about $2.1, and at that point, I'm really hoping that these are going to be the sub waves even on a higher degree for, you know what, an ABC flat. Hence why I told you after this 5 wave on the downside, we are going to have a bit of a bounce. Now, question, why is it that this bounce is not necessarily going to be a buy or maybe even a long opportunity for like some short-term trades? Because there is also a chance that as opposed to an ABC flat structure, maybe this whole move on the upside is just a correction. And in this phase in ICP, after having a bit of a bounce, we are going to get another move down in order to take the lowest low, unfortunately, down here about $2. I know it's really far from ideal, but again, we don't really care about ideals. The market does what it does. We should just be 100% objective and just analyze it, simple as that. Now, here is the deal. One way or the other, I told you, we are going to have a move on the upside, but the question is, at what point can we argue whether this can be the start of a good uptrend and the low is indeed in, and we are going to continue this move in order to bare minimum take the highs and maybe go quite a bit higher than that. And I do think, by the way, we are indeed going to go quite a bit higher than that. Now, here is the situation. I think, since I said it earlier, one way or the other, we are going to get a move up. I believe we should actually pay full attention to the shape of our move. Okay, it's very important to understand that the move itself is not really tradable. Honestly, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. If for the shape of it though, we get a very strong move, a 5 wave without a lot of overlapping of the waves, great sign at that point. Hopefully the low in ICP is in, and in the next pullback right in here, you can open some long positions in hope that we get the next big move on the upside and make a decent amount of money in like very short time. On the other hand, God forbid, if we end up having a very slow and choppy move up, be careful. Odds are relative to this impulse down, this is just a correction, meaning what? The next move, well, it is going to be unfortunately on the downside. So for now, let's just focus on a bit more continuation of this short-term move on the downside in order to take the lows, and then let's focus on having a bounce back. And when we get this one, we are going to make new updates and see what might be the next likely move based on the shape of it. Okay, I cannot stress this enough, and I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in ICP's charts. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.